Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Okay, Aaron, it's November 15th. You know how excited I am about this episode. Are you sure we're going to have this edited and ready for the first week in New Year's of 2023?
No problem. We'll have it ready.
That's awesome. Great, man.
All right, here we go. Episode 440, 3 New Year's resolutions to a worry-free retirement. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist and 6-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
We call them New Year's resolutions. Webster's defines a resolution as the act of determining to do something, or, as it relates to my field of endeavor, retirement planning, the act of analyzing a complex notion into simpler ones. And assuming America's favorite financial sidekick is able to successfully edit today's show so that it might air during the first week of the new year of 2023, I will assume that whether it's resolving to go on a diet, get more exercise, and yes, maybe even getting your financial house in order. While the good news is that while most of us will set New Year's resolutions, in most cases, we fail to keep them. Which is why today, I will share with you the 3 resolutions that you can easily make and more importantly, keep to be worry-free in retirement. So, let's get started. Well, welcome folks to the Worry-Free Retirement, and yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, New Year's resolution retirement planning specialist and fiduciary, Tony Walker. And before we get started showing you how to gain more focus on your retirement and your money, let me introduce 3 folks who are resolved to help produce this show each and every week. America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander. Louisville, Kentucky's most laid-back graphics artist, Mr. Derek Hudson. And finally, our associate producer, Miss Meek and Mild, Mary Beth Combs. Oh, speaking of New Year's resolutions and our resolutions for 2023, we're set to feature our wonderful staff by providing their financial expertise on the show more often. And thanks to the Worry-Free production team, we are making that happen as we speak with something we call Tips to Retire Worry-Free. In fact, here's an example of the many tips you can watch on our YouTube channel or by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. So let's take a look at one right now.
Hi, my name is Heather Hughes. I'm an advisor in the Bowling Green office at Tony Walker Financial. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the decision to retire. That's probably one of the major decisions you're ever going to have in your life. And to have the right advisor to help you through retirement is of utmost importance. Keep in mind that you really do need to work with a fiduciary who is legally obligated to work in your best interest. Additionally, you are going to want a game plan for your retirement so you can navigate through everything. And look at retirement as a partnership with your advisor, somebody that you'll be able to work with throughout retirement. And if you have a spouse that they feel comfortable working with too. Here at Tony Walker Financial, we can do all of those things. Thank you so much.
Okay, there you sit as we record this show in the mid-November of 2022, and now we find ourselves in the year 2023 with many savers worried sick over the future well-being of their retirement, whether it's the fear of inflation, the future taxes that will be owed on that tax-infested 401k you've been socking money into, the risk and uncertainty of stocks and bonds, and finally, who to trust with your life savings. These lists of fears and worries is more evident than ever before. Well, today's show, how to be more worry-free by establishing 3 resolutions for 2023, is coming your way. I'm Tony Walker. You stay tuned to the Worry-Free Retirement. I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, and our Live Well, Die Broke moment focuses on one of my personal goals of writing, of all things, a children's book, which, by the way, has nothing to do with money. The title? The Adventures of Tony, Baloney, and Cookie. In fact, while the book was written for children ages 6 and younger, our own Jennifer Jaggers and her daughter Riley actually loved the book. And obviously Riley's a little older than 6 years of age. Just more evidence that we're all young at heart and there's plenty of time in life to have a good laugh, especially when you're reading to your kids and grandkids. Oh, by the way, you can grab a copy at any major bookseller, so I would appreciate your support of this book. And also, if you're on Facebook and you've enjoyed the book, please let others know about it. I'd really appreciate it. All right, our subject today deals with the 3 most important resolutions savers can make in the year 2023. And that is to be worry-free in retirement. So let's get started. Well, first and foremost, you're going to need to work with a fiduciary. Think about it. Before you hand your money over to just anybody, for goodness sakes, make sure they're required by law to work in your best interest. But it even goes further than that, because not only do we want a fiduciary, we want a fiduciary who has no conflict of interest. More on this issue of conflict of interest in just a few minutes. Number 2, do not invest or make major financial decisions about your retirement and where you're going to invest this money without a written game plan provided to you by the advisor proposing to handle your money. Be sure that this written game plan includes guaranteed income that you can never outlive, and that would be number 3, something called mailbox money.
Mailbox money.
So let's do this. Let's go back and start with the first one. The idea of a fiduciary, but also a fiduciary who has no conflict of interest. And just in case, by the way, you missed last week's episode on what the heck is a fiduciary, you can certainly watch that particular show, as we have all of our past episodes on our YouTube channel. All you do is go to youtube.com and you're going to search Tony Walker Financial. So, what is a conflict of interest, and why is it required by law for advisors who hold themselves out as fiduciaries to disclose any conflict of interest they might have? Well, we put this little graphic together. Now, this is pretty cool. Let me set the stage. Derek's over here at the helm before we go into this. Okay, first of all, a fiduciary who does advertising. Basically, this show is used to market our services. We're doing educational information, but we're also advertising our services. So there is nothing wrong with any fiduciary out there on TV or radio or the internet advertising their services. But here's the rub. Whenever a fiduciary, let's say in this example a fee-based fiduciary, starts dogging commission products and making it sound like anybody that sells a commissionable product, which we do, is not a fiduciary, well, that's just wrong. Not only add to that, as we're going to see in a minute, those same fee advisors, this is what's really interesting, that don't offer any other products other than their fee-based program, in some cases will make a whole lot more money charging fees on your money than we will if we charge a commission. Let's take a look at this. Now, this is an interesting example. What we did, we took someone who has a choice. They can work with a fee-based advisor or they can work with a commission-based advisor. Now, we're unique at Tony Walker Financial because we're both. If we manage your money through Charles Schwab, we'll see this in a minute, we charge a fee of 0.8%. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, etc. If we sell commissionable products, which are insurance products like annuities, we get a one-time commission. So let's watch this play out. Go ahead, Derek. So in this example, we're going to imagine the money manager charges 1.5% in fees, the same money managers that says you should never buy commissionable products. And you have an option, though. You might say, well, Tony, what if I look at one of these annuities, something we call a multi-year guaranteed annuity? Is there any fee that I'm going to have to pay you or the insurance company for this annuity? The answer is no, there's no fee. Well, let's keep going, because you're going to be thinking, well, how do you get paid? Well, what about commissions? Well, obviously, under the fee program, the advisor charging 1.5% per year doesn't make a commission. In this case, on this particular product we're talking about, as a fiduciary, the insurance company, not you, the insurance company is going to pay us, in this example on this product, about a 2% commission. That's it, okay? We do not earn any fees on this product. Let's keep going, Derek. Now we got to choose something here. So the reason I use 5% as a rate of return, because right now as we record this show on November 15th, 2022, we have annuities that are called MIGAs, multi-year guaranteed annuities. The length or the term of the annuity is 5 years and they are guaranteed. And these rates do change. But right now if you were to lock one of these in and put in $100,000, you can even do less, but let's say it's $100,000, the insurance company is going to guarantee you 5% per year and there's no fee. Remember, they've paid us a commission, in this example, of 2% or $2,000. Assuming you keep the contract the full 5 years and don't surrender it, you're going to have no out-of-pocket cost. You don't pay the commission to us, the insurance company does. Okay, let's keep moving. So let's assume that the advisor makes 5% on their account over the 5 years. It could be more, could be less. We're just trying to make things equal. Notice, this is what's crazy, and people don't realize this. Notice by them charging 1.5% per year over that 5 years, as this account grows, they're going to make more and more money. In fact, by the end of the 5th year, that advisor is going to make over $8,000 in fees, all right? While all along, for that same product we sold, we made $2,000. Now, granted, I'm happy to get the $2,000. I'm not complaining. But when we have a fiduciary over here charging these kind of fees and making that kind of money, and they're dogging this approach, I got to ask you, what's going on here, folks? This is a crazy notion that people shouldn't consider commissionable products. As we've said earlier, it just depends on the situation at hand. But it gets worse because a lot of people don't understand what these fees mean. They don't know how it affects their account. So we have to take this to its logical conclusion. And we're going to imagine now we're at the end of the 5th year and you say, okay, Tony, that's all well and good. They had to take their fees. They had to get paid. You got a commission. You got paid. Does that really affect my pocketbook and what I have at the end of 5 years? Well, let's take a look. Notice this, FV means future value. So beginning in year 6, after all these fees are deducted, that $100,000 would be worth $118,000. Okay, not bad. But by having no fees and paying an upfront commission by the insurance companies, again, that doesn't come out of your pocket, look at the difference. You would have, what is that, over $9,000 more money in your pocket as a result of avoiding these fees. So you might be saying, Tony, are you saying that I should avoid fees at all costs? No, we're not saying that. What I'm saying is a fiduciary has to have no conflict of interest. The way we avoid conflict of interest, put this up full screen, Aaron, is by offering our split IRA concept. It's a unique concept that brings a lot of expertise to the table because we have the workings of the fee program through our Charles Schwab platform. We can get stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and bank products just like any other money manager, but we also have expertise in the world of annuities, which are commissionable products. So you might be sitting there saying, Tony, I didn't realize there was such a conflict of interest out there and I had to be on guard with all these ads and things I keep seeing on the internet. What is the solution and how can I be sure that the fiduciary I'm working with is truly working in my best interest? Well, that's easy. All you got to do is run over to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You're going to click on that Let's Get Started button, and basically we can have what's called a free 10-minute fiduciary phone call with yourself and myself to see how we can help. And then if it warrants, we'll be happy to meet with you in person, provide a free written game plan, and also go through all the different options you have available, whether it's investments, annuities, or both. So take advantage of that, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. All right, so when we return, we're going to finish up with the next 2 resolutions you'll need for 2023 to be worry-free. You hang in there. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back. You wouldn't go through major surgery without getting a second opinion, would you? Well, of course not. And neither should you blindly trust your life savings to the first advisor you meet. I'm retirement specialist Tony Walker, and for more than 37 years I've been providing free second opinions, and I'd like to do the same for you. To get your free second opinion, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, or call the toll-free number on your screen. Our Tony in the Trenches comes to us from Justin in Bowling Green, who asked the following. Tony, you seem to be a big proponent of whole life insurance, but the people I listen to on the radio and advisors I Google on the internet say whole life is a bad deal. Is there anyone else out there that agrees with you? Well, Justin, apparently there is. In fact, check out this article that just appeared in Wealth Management on the possible merits of why even investors may wish to consider something called whole life insurance as an alternative investment. Why? Well, let's take a look. With investor anxiety running high, the article says, advisors may be wise to take a fresh look at a time-tested asset, I love that, asset class that is completely uncorrelated to equities or fixed income, whole life insurance. In fact, speaking of time-tested, whole life insurance dates back all the way more than 100 years ago, as evidenced by this book written by then by the late great Solomon Huebner, who first wrote about the economics of life insurance. So why might a saver wish to consider adding whole life insurance to their retirement plans? Well, first of all, it is a guaranteed way to provide a tax-free death benefit, which allows the person that's in retirement to actually spend and enjoy their money. It's like a permission slip. Also, whole life insurance with the premium never increases no matter how long you own it, which, unlike term insurance, which I'm seeing more and more people have to discontinue their term insurance because the premium is prohibitive. And finally, just like I use my whole life for, it is very, very safe, and the cash value can be used and accessed whenever you need it. So I would say this, to learn more about whole life insurance and how we at Tony Walker Financial use this product effectively in retirement planning, why don't you download this free booklet, or better yet, you can just email Gina at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's Gina at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. What you're going to do in that email is tell Gina that you'd like us to mail a hard copy of this book, absolutely free, but be sure to put your name and mailing address when you do so. Okay, back to our 3 resolutions for 2023. Let's look at number 2, getting in place a written game plan, which is something we offer at Tony Walker Financial. So why is having a written game plan a key to remaining worry-free in retirement? Well, let's think about this a moment. What is the one thing we know that is going to happen in retirement? Well, I can tell you this, as someone who's worked in this business for more than 38 years, met in person with over 15,000 savers, has over 3,000 clients, and still to this day meets with 20 to 30 people each week, here's what I can tell you about your plans for the future. It's something my dad always used to say. Nothing stays the same. That's right, folks. Your plans will change. So my question is, how are you and your advisor going to deal with these changes when they come about? How will you know what the taxes are going to be on the future and how you're going to pay those taxes? What about a stock market loss and its effect on your income? How will you know which accounts to take money from? How will you know how much you can even set aside for an emergency? You see, folks, the list of changes that will occur in retirement can be endless. And unless you and your advisor are on the same page, have a written game plan, there's no way either of you will be able to quickly decide what your best options are for dealing with change, which is where we at Tony Walker Financial are so different. You know, instead of avoiding the topic of change, we embrace it. And we are there to help you deal with change because we have that written game plan available to you. We're on the same page with our clients, and we can quickly meet with them where they are and look at the options that the change presents itself to. So if that's you, you don't have a written game plan in place, my question is, why not? That is certainly something we can help you with, and it's easy to do, so why don't you take advantage of that now? Okay, in our remaining time, let's cover the last resolution. It's got to be my favorite, folks. It goes all the way back to my granddad when he retired in 1978 with his beloved pension. That's right, we call it
mailbox money.
So how does mailbox money guarantee this income for as long as you live? And what exactly is mailbox money? Well, folks, first of all, mailbox money only comes from annuities. And since most of you aren't eligible for a pension like my granddad, you're going to want to be like he did and lock in some sort of asset that will pay you an income for as long as you live, which only annuities can do that. Now, as evidenced by how some fiduciaries have a conflict of interest, is that, as we discussed earlier, they tend to bash annuities. Why is that? Well, these are products that guarantee you can't run out of money, but the reason they bash them is they have a conflict of interest. That is, they don't sell annuities, therefore, they're not going to mention this term mailbox money. So, assuming you're a saver and you don't want to run out of money, why in the world would you not consider investing some of your money in a product such as mailbox money? By the way, to learn more about mailbox money and how we at Tony Walker Financial are helping so many people with it, there's a great little booklet I wrote, and it's called Mailbox Money Made Easy. And just like the other booklet, I would encourage you to contact Gina at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Tell her you'd like a copy of Mailbox Money Made Easy, and of course, she'll be happy to mail that to you. So, we've talked about all three resolutions for 2023 that you might want to consider to be more worry-free in retirement. And of those three, is there one in particular that the Bible addresses that deals with this idea of having a conflict of interest? You bet. But before I show the most interesting exchange found in the book of Acts, let me grab another cup of coffee. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back.
Tony, I know you recently wrote a best-selling book that's called Live Well, Die Broke. I have to admit, that is not exactly something I would expect to hear from someone who's giving retirement advice.
Well, that catches people off guard because, don't I want to have all kinds of money? The whole purpose of the book was to remind people that you have to spend this money before it's too late. What I've seen over the years is people don't do that, and whether they want to admit it or not, everyone dies broke. What I mean by that is, Diane, you can't take it with you. So it's interesting that people work so hard to save all this money, but nobody's encouraging them to spend it. Now, here's the reason I believe the financial world doesn't want you to spend that money. If you start taking money away that you've saved with the financial world, that's less money for them. That's less commissions, that's less fees, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody makes money on your money if you don't spend it. The moment you start spending and enjoying that money is when you would get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So if you think about it that way, you've worked hard to spend it, and at some point there'll be a point in time where you can't. A lot of people we have are getting older. They don't spend any money. We have people spending a couple $1,000 a month, and they come in their 80s and go, Tony, what am I supposed to do with all this money? Well, they couldn't even spend it even if they wanted to. They're not doing traveling and doing a lot of things they did when they're younger. So I think the philosophy is right on. I think it makes complete sense. And when our clients see how that we can make sure they use and enjoy and protect that money, and then show them how they can still use it without running out of money, it's a game changer, and it liberates them to feel like they can enjoy what they've worked so hard to save.
That makes sense. And you're dealing with savers. So that mentality, maybe you're having to mold it a little bit for them.
You're right. A saver, that goes against the grain. They've saved money. They're not good spenders. But we'll make sure they enjoy that money. And again, we'll make sure they spend it without running out of it.
For additional information and scheduling your free, no obligation appointment, go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. We care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Ever wonder why us humans can be so critical of others and poo-poo their ideas so quickly? Well, maybe the reason so many people, yes, even advisors in the financial world, quickly dismiss the possibility that others might have just as good a solution as they do can usually be attributed to one thing: money. Now, here's what I've found in working in this business for more than 38 years and working on both sides of the aisle, that is, investments offered by Wall Street and annuities offered by insurance companies. And here it is. There is no one perfect product, and as a fiduciary, because I know there is no one-size-fits-all out there, I'm going to be sure to provide options for the saver to consider. In other words, as a fiduciary, One way I avoid having a conflict of interest is first by making sure people know how we get paid, and then second, offer them more than one type of product to choose from. But since we're all sinners and subject to the desire for more and more money, regardless of any conflict of interest we might possess, I thought it might be of some consolation to know that the Bible is well aware of this subject called the conflict of interest. Check it out in this interesting exchange found in the book of Acts, chapter 19, beginning in verse 23, where this new way of following after the teachings of this man Jesus is now putting a dent in the business of those who make man-made idols. Idols which apparently the newfound followers of Jesus Christ no longer need. The reason these idol makers are losing money was, well, according to Demetrius, the idol maker himself, is because this man Paul keeps telling these fellow believers and the masses that they'll no longer need their services. He does this by persuading others with this statement: gods made with hands are no gods at all. Imagine that. People all of a sudden who've been spending all of their money on worthless idols now find out that they don't need them anymore. Sounds like people wasting money on high-fee products when other low-cost products are available to them. So what do those who possess a conflict of interest do when someone comes along with a better way of doing business? Well, that's easy. You just create a lot of confusion with the masses. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe it's who to follow with your faith and who to follow with your money. And at this stage of the game, there's a good chance that the financial world has done a good job of creating confusion as to where you should invest your money and, more importantly, who to trust with it. Well, if that's the case, might I suggest another way of looking at money? One that helps savers realize that you don't have to risk all of your money in the stock market. You don't have to pay a bunch of high fees for someone to manage it. And for goodness sakes, you don't have to be afraid to spend it and enjoy it now. So how do we at Tony Walker Financial help so many people worry less about money? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, at Tony Walker Financial, we have one goal in mind, and that is to help savers worry less about money. And I'd like to share with you more about our services, and best of all, it's absolutely free to do so. We call this the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call, and here's how this works. You can access us one of two ways. First of all, you can go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and while there, you just click on that Let's Get Started button. Then your information will be confidentially sent to our offices, and we will arrange a free 10-minute fiduciary phone call, that's right, with the owner of the company. Not sure if the internet's your thing and you'd rather just call the office? No problem. Just call the toll-free number on your screen, and we'll be happy to make that work. In addition to that, if it looks like there's something we can help you with, I'll be happy to arrange a no-obligation appointment to meet with you at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. So do it now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or give us a call at the number on your screen. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's program, but you remember, between now and next week, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.